in this is to actually form the rings. So having tested out tier 1, I'm going to make a ring out of it. So close the seam here, and then I also need to do the same with tier 2. Tier 2 has several pieces to string together, so I'll make a long ribbon and then I will close it into a loop. So that's the idea, and then gather tier 2 to fit tier 1, and do the same with tier 3. I've closed up all of my tiers, so now they're all rings, and it's time to press the seams flat. Now it's time to join tier 2 to tier 1. So the gathering on top of tier 1 that's going to go to the bodice, that's not finalized at all. One thing I have to think about is how the dress is going to slip over the head, and this is going to attach to an elastic bodice. So still a lot of thinking to do on how that's going to work, but what's not going to change is the fact that to the ungathered bottom of tier 1 I need to attach tier 2, and tier 2 needs to be gathered accordingly. So in order to get more even gatherings, I am going to quarter my work, meaning I'm going to ensure that the gatherings on tier 2 are even over quarters. It's easier than ensuring even gathering all around. So and another thing to watch out for, I'm working this really out of piecemeal fabric, so in particular tier 2 is in multiple pieces, so there's quite a few there's 3 seams total on tier 2. There's a short piece of fabric here, and there should be another short piece of fabric. Yeah. So this actually is, this is going to be my center seam, the part between the 2 short fabrics. 2 shorter pieces will be center back. Then that will put those 2 seams on either side also in the back. So I'm going to line up this center seam with the center seam of tier 1. Tier 1 is all in one piece, so it only has 1 seam. So these 2 seams will line up, and then I will do quarter by quarters. So I'm starting by pinning the center seams, center back to center back, and then I'm going to pin middle front to middle front. So fold tier 1 in half. I'm going to place a pin here to say that this is the center front. And I'm going to fold tier 2 in half in order to identify the center front as well on that piece. This is so unwieldy. I'm not looking forward to tier 3. Okay, there we go. So this is the center of tier 3. Line up to center of tier 1. And do the same for the quarters. So get half. Find the halfway point between the center back and the center seam on tier 1. Same for tier 2. That might look confusing, and it is. It's very confusing. Right. And lastly, halfway point on the other side for tier 1, and then for tier 2. I'm getting better at this. Then line up those 2 pins. Alright, so now the name of the game is to gather quarters by quarter. So this is tier 1. It's at its tier 1 is not going to get gathered straight. And this is tier 2. Tier 2 is longer by design, and I need to gather this, get it to match, and do this for all 4 quarters. I got the gathering about right for this quarter, so I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place and then do the other 3 quarters the same way. The skirt is all assembled, all 3 tiers, and meanwhile I've also completed the it's like a little bikini top. But that's going to be the bodice